Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in. Man, what a freaking day today was, and we're going to get right into that. Let's start off with I hope you guys are having a great week. If your week sucked, I hope that today, about 3 hours ago, made it all worth it. But you're tuning into the Juice Box Heroes podcast. I'm one of your hosts, PK. Get the Dubon Fan Club president, Mr. Chris Moreno, Sweet B Bones, Mr. Bryles. Fellas, I would ask you how your week is. I'm still going to, but I kind of know how at least today went. Other than that, how's everything going?
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm fucking pumped. I know we got to breeze through the Washington series before we get into really what we're all here today for. But yeah, the only exception of I would say the crappy part of my day was that I got stuck on a 45-minute drive home when all the trades were popping off with the Correa trade, the Sanchez trade, and I was just like, no, of course, this would all happen while I'm driving. But besides that, man, I got no complaints at all, Browse. How was your day going?
Fantastic, man. And, don't tell the boss, but I didn't get a whole lot of work done today either. It was like, had MLB radio on the entire time, just waiting for that dun, 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 just like coming out with whatever trade was coming up. And little disappointed in the beginning, and then it all just came, and I can't wait for it, man. So, PK, how about you, buddy?
Yeah, so I was kind of the same way. I was telling Chris before you came on, that I was trying to sit. I think, it was on for like 5-something hours, right? And I'm sitting there and I'm like, nothing's happening. And you're trying not to, I'm trying not to get pissed because I'm like, what are we doing? We're sitting there with just Urias right at the moment. Don't post anything stupid because something's about to happen, right? So, and then it happened just like that, instant with Correa and Sanchez, and we're going to get into that. But all in all, man, it was a great day. Let's speed bump over the National Series real quick. We'll get into the trades for today. We all went 2-1. Fromber had a good. I think Fromber pitched on Tuesday. Was it Tuesday? To be honest with you, man,
I don't even remember anymore.
It seems so far away. I don't even really remember what happened. That's how today made earlier in the week. Let's just go off with this. They won the series. We all picked 2-1. So that's where we're at. Right.
Oh, and Fromber got mad about the defensive
alignment. And Fromber got mad about the defensive alignment. So, which I was kind of surprised that he did that, out into the public, instead of behind closed doors. A spotter came out, slapped his hand, so we'll see what happens now, going forward. But look, if y'all don't have anything else about the National Series, should have been a sweep, but I mean, it was still a series win. We needed that. Let's get into what transpired today. So we're going into today with Ramon Urias as the only player that we had made a move on. Another utility guy, right? He comes over from Baltimore. I think first thought for me was, well, you kind of had that with Dubon, right? But it does fill multiple positions of need, right? Because he can play, second, short, third. I think he does a little bit outfield. Does he do outfield?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I think, does he?
No, he's infield only.
Everything. No, everything I looked on him said he was second base, third base.
So it fills a need, right? Paredes, before we get into all this, Paredes, it looks like he is done 6 to 7 months. It's like a torn hamstring. So that's what you had. That was the news the club had going, I think, going into this, the trade deadline date today. And then of course, getting that news, that completely changes what you're going after in this trade deadline scenario, right? Like you need, we talked about starting pitching. We talked about a left-handed at bat, a left fielder, another position player. Now you need a third baseman to hold down third because Paredes isn't going to be there. So with Urias, you get that platoon guy, another Dubon. You can put Urias in the infield. Dubon can go to the outfield, right? I mean, it's okay. It's not a sexy move, but it's a move based out of need. So we go into today. Do y'all have any thoughts on Urias other than what we just talked about?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much figured that when they made the trade for Urias last night, I thought the Correa fantasy was done. I thought that was going to be their guy. I figured Minnesota was asking way too much. So I was just kind of it almost made me think that maybe they were potentially thinking about moving Dubon because essentially I had the same thought. It's like, well, this is essentially Dubon 2.0, and you have him for this year and next year. But yeah, I mean, in my opinion, I thought that this pretty much ruled us out of Correa. So I don't know, Bros. What did you think? Did you have any thought?
No, that was the exact same thing. I thought that with everything going on at the beginning, because keep in mind there was 16 trades the day before the trade deadline, so that was unbelievable. I mean, most time you see like 3-4 trades, but when you see 16, and then we pick up the best utility player probably on the market. I know everybody was talking about Willie Castro from the Twins, but at the same time, Dana Brown reached down and went and got him. And he's a much, much better hitter, although that's where I was getting the two guys confused. So, Chris, you were correct. He does play infield only. He does not play outfield. However, he's got a much better bat than Willie Castro does. So I thought the same thing. I thought it was like, okay, so here's your fill-in at third base, and we've already got Altuve at second. So now what are you going to do? Because Jeremy Pena is going to be coming back on Friday to play in the Boston series. So yeah, I was like, okay, so there's that. I guess they're going to go throw all their trade chips in to go get a starting pitcher. And that's kind of when I was like, well, we'll see. I mean, you guys saw it on our trade deadline special last night. We talked about a number of situations, but I honestly thought with picking him up that, we weren't really going to be doing too much other than maybe an outfielder or two, and that was about it. So that was my initial reaction to it.
I think when you see the ticker come through with Urias and Bros, I agree. It's like, okay, you feel that need at third. I think my initial thought was, hey, we're going to go out for a left fielder, right? You're putting your all your pieces in for left fielder. We talked about Quan. It made this it made sense. You get air quotes a bargain player with Urias, so you can go all in on Quan. Cease was still out there being talked about, but we all know that we need a left fielder, and he's a lefty. So I was kind of under the same thing with you. I really didn't think the Correa thing was pretty much dead. Plus, after Wednesday's game, and I know they have to say this stuff because they're being interviewed, but Correa made a comment that hey, he wanted to be in Minnesota, and that kind of the talks had stopped, and yada yada yada, right? So. With that, and then with the move with Urias, you kind of think like, all right, maybe there's some truth to that. And then we get to today. And look, I still was a little bit leery about it. I still didn't think it was going to go through because I figured that Minnesota was going to be asking an arm and a leg, right? Even though that they're in the position to shed salary because of the amount of money they have on the books. Like, I still thought they were going to be asking way too much. And Bryles, actually, you beat me to the seeing it on TV. So whenever you text Correa, that's all I got. That's all we got was all caps Correa. And I didn't even respond because I didn't want to I didn't know if he was saying it was going somewhere else. And then it came through on TV and look, and then that took the headlines on MLB Network. That took the headlines away from San Diego from the Mason Miller move. Right. So first initial reaction, Chris or Bryles, you go first. First initial reaction to seeing Correa come through, the trade coming through, that we're bringing old boy home. What was your first reaction?
First reaction, and we talked about it last night. I was just like, this has got to be now the most solid infield in all of baseball. If you've got Correa playing third, Pena coming back playing short, Altuve playing second, and Walker playing first, I dare you to go find a better infield than that in all of Major League Baseball right now. That is absolutely phenomenal. And not only that, like I said, he's the bulldog, man. I am so excited for this. At first, I was on the fence. I'm not going to lie. But when we talked about it last night, it was like I was on the fence. I was like, okay, if we get him, great. If we don't get him, well, we've got this and we've got that. And it's like, the more and more I've thought about this this is a fantastic thing. And keep in mind, this is not our money. This is Jim Crane's money. So if he wants to go out and spend it and bring Correa home, and he's going to be fired up. And I guarantee you there's been a phone call already to Brendan Rodgers saying, hey, by the way, that number one, I'm going to have to take that back. So what do you want for it?
Take that shit off.
I don't even think it's a what do you want for it. It's hey, that's my number.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's pretty much like, hey, that's my number.
Yeah.
There's a Rolex coming to your apartment. Just go ahead and enjoy that. But by the way, you
Yeah.
don't own number one anymore.
Yeah.
So anyway, no, I was completely fired up. I was waiting for something to happen all day. And then when that happened, just like you said, man, it was like I was listening to MLB radio and I heard it. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, and just started typing like as fast as I possibly could. So super excited, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly thought once that Bob Nightingale tweet came out about how the Astros wanted them to eat 50% and throw in an outfielder, I was like, man, I don't know what Dana's smoking, but it must be some good shit. It's like, I mean, because I thought that was super steep. So once I saw that report, I was in my head saying, okay, well, Correa, where's he going to play next year? And, he makes too much money and all this. So I was trying to convince myself why we didn't need Correa. I'm not going to lie. When it came across the radio on my drive home, I marked out a whole lot. I felt like I haven't felt this excited over a trade deadline acquisition since, thanks, man. Since 2017, when it was at the last golden hour and we pulled JV. And again, I mean, like I'm trying to put the fan, because like I said, for me, this is my guy that I've watched from the second we drafted him all the way up, right? This was my guy. And, so for me to see him leave and then eventually now he's coming back, like I'm trying to put that aside and try to look at this as, I mean, you guys both nailed it on the head. You're going to get that bulldog mentality. You're going to get basically a gold glove infield, not to mention, and right, might want to take a timestamp on this, PK. Your two utility guys are gold glovers. Dubon's a gold glover and Urias is a gold glover. So we have 6 infield gold glovers right now. Again, we'll have to figure out how to kind of work piece the outfield. I mean, but as far as Correa, dude, I'm not gonna lie, man. I was super. Like I said, I definitely marked out. I screamed. I was like, "Fuck yeah!" in the car. People were looking at me like I was have issues. But yeah, man, it was an awesome drive home, and I'm excited, man. Like I'm seeing all these montage videos. I'm like, I wish tomorrow night's game was not on Apple TV.
Yeah, just in case y'all don't know, tomorrow's game is on Apple TV. So subscribe to it or find someone to give you the login. But anyways, here's the other good news about the Correa thing. Okay. And this is what I'm pumped about the Correa and the Sanchez. And we'll get into Sanchez in a minute. So the final deal as it was packaged, right, is Minnesota eats $33 million. That means Houston is on the hook for 3.5 years at $70 million. That's the remainder for Correa's contract. On top of that, you sent them a 26-year-old high A level pitcher named Mike Mikulski.
Dude, that's golly. You essentially got Correa for nothing.
Stole him.
And sorry, on top of that, you just signed this guy in May. So it's not like you developed this guy all the way.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's
so
correct.
this you just brought this guy over in May. He didn't make it above high A ball, which again, if you're 26 and you're playing high A ball, then unless it's on, and I would even say more than likely nowadays, if you're on a rehab start, you're probably going to double A at the lowest, right? Because they're going to want to try to keep you close to seeing, close to major league at bats. You're not going to see anybody go down to do a rehab start in high A. But what I'm saying is this kid hasn't made it above high A and he's 26. So essentially you just got Correa and you've got, what is he? He's making a little bit more than what you're paying Christian Walker, which is less than what you're paying him before he went to go sign with Minnesota. And you gave up fucking peanuts for him.
Well, it's actually, like technically, you're paying the same, right? Because Walker got 3.
So you're paying about the same.
So 360, right? 3 for 60 for Walker and 3.5 70. That is exactly the same as Walker.
Okay, so you're paying about 25. But either way, you're getting him for nothing. And again, this dude, I mean, like, you got the bulldog aspect, you got what this guy does in the playoffs. I mean, I think this is the kind of spark, and I know, and the most important thing for me is now we're actually putting major league players on the field and we're going to start weeding out some of these guys. Although I appreciate everything they've done to hold the line until Pena's coming back Friday. And now you've got these 3 new guys coming to the team. So I'm sorry, Whitcomb's going to go down. And the best part, in my opinion, about this whole entire trade deadline, you didn't move Melton and you didn't move Matthews. And you've got three great play. I mean, three good players, and then you have 2 good players, and you have Correa.
Yeah, it's the one thing that I thought was really intriguing about all this, which kind of got lost in the background, was this whole deal was supposed to go down earlier this morning, and I found out about this. And then it was the 2 GMs were getting back together, and they were trying to figure it out and couldn't do it, and for the money part of it. So it's actually Jim Crane picking up the phone, calling the owner of the Twins and saying, hey, look, we're going to figure out the money thing. He's coming to Houston. And he just straight hung up the phone from what I was to understand.
Oh, yeah.
This is all, don't get me wrong. This is all from Twitter. But he straight up hung up the phone and then called him back 15 minutes later and said, this is the money we're going to do. If you can live with it, great. If you can't live with it, well, then we're going to just go ahead and take him. And it worked out. It's so, I've criticized Crane. I've criticized Dana Brown. But, man, I'm just like we've been talking about, this is going to be absolutely phenomenal having a Gold Glove third baseman now. And also, it's Correa coming back. So this is going to be absolutely great, man.
Well, and I think Dana Brown said something on the post trade deadline interview that Crane, he basically was praising Crane for what you just said, Browse, right? Making that decision, that call, like, hey, we want this dude, go get him. And Brown said, like, as long as Crane's the owner, like, this window's never closed. He wants to win. I mean, and clearly he'll make the moves where he feels necessary to go do it. So, Chris, what'd you have?
No, I was just going to say, man, I have to give kudos to Browse too, because like when I sent to y'all in the group text about how, the Dana Brown wanted them to eat 50% and then throw in an outfielder. And Browse, you came out and you said, yeah, he's playing hardball, but he's basically got Minnesota by the balls, because the Astros were the only team that Correa would have waived his no trade clause for. And granted, you were a little bit off on the time, but you said give it by 4:45, it'll be done. And so I just wanted to give you your flowers, Browse. And I just honestly, on people on X, the people that see this, can you now give Dana Brown his flowers? Because there was so much negativity, especially after the trade deadline last season. There was all this, well, Dana Brown ain't doing nothing. He must be cooking a brisket because this shit's taking forever.
That one was awesome. That one was really good.
Give the man his flowers. I had to granted, if I'm being nitpicky as shit, I would have loved to brought in Cease, not for the price they were asking. I would have loved to bring in Alcantara just as the icing on the cake. But sometimes you just got to be happy with the great dessert that you got, right? So I love every single one of these moves. I think Sanchez is another one of those sneaky, under the radar outfielders that could really contribute. The big thing that I looked up on him is he doesn't really hit lefties well, but we need him to face righties, not really lefties. So I like your rise. I mean, anytime you have a Gold Glove utility player that's not named Dubon, I'm all for it. And and you got Correa as the cherry on top, man. I mean, like, you really can't complain. Like, I know a lot of people think this is like MLB The Show, where you just say, hey, I want to bring in these 3 guys. It gets done instantly because their trade system is completely jacked up. So I give Dana Brown an A on this trade deadline.
Yeah, I think overall, I would give them an A. I think, like you said, Chris, selfishly, well, we talked about it last night. I really wasn't very high on getting Cease because A, it was a rental. B, it's just a risk for the amount that you're going to have to give up for hoping that he was going to turn it around like Kikuchi did. So now, was I getting pumped about the possibility of Cease coming as the day wore on and like the more reports came out? Yeah, absolutely. Right. But I'm glad that the Padres were asking, for Arrighetti, Matthews, and 2 other prospects. I'm glad they asked that much. Right. So I'm glad that Dana Brown and Jim Crane said, no, cool story. We'll stand pat. Right. Yeah. Houston was tied to Quan for a minute. Right. But I think you get, even though that Quan has some control as far as contract is concerned, just like Jesus Sanchez does, you didn't pay as much for Sanchez as you would for Quan. Now, granted, Quan and Sanchez are on two different levels of, tiers, right, of left fielders. I understand that. You gave up Gusto, which look, you gave up Gusto, our number 13 prospect, and Chase with
Jaworski.
Jaworski and Esmil Valencia, right? Those are your three guys that go to Miami. Now with Gusto, started out as a bullpen guy, forced into the starting rotation, right, because of injuries. I mean, shaky at best, but he still held his own. So, thank you to Gusto for coming in and just doing what he was asked to do to the best he could. He will get more PT over there in Miami, right? So good for him from a professional standpoint. But you really didn't give up that much in Sanchez. Now, I think I would have preferred to have kept our prospect, but I always want to keep our prospects. But that's not how this trade works. Deadlines work.
Yeah.
So the big thing about the Correa and Jesus Sanchez is that you got them under control for at least 2 years, right? These aren't rentals. So what you gave up for them, you have. Now, in 2026, you're going to have the question of where does everybody play, right? But that's a 2026 question. We'll deal with that.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Problem.
It's a good problem
to have. That's a next year problem.
That's a December problem. That's a December problem. You start thinking about that. So look, I think all in all, I give the Astros at least an A, right? Just, Dana Brown knows what he's doing. We give him crap all the time. However, that's why he is the general manager of a multi-million-dollar organization and makes the moves that he does. So kudos to him. Kudos to the Astros. I'm pumped. I'm ready for tomorrow night.
No, I agree. I mean, I personally think the Sanchez deal was a little bit of an overpay, but I'm not going to trip about it. I mean, all three of these guys, like you said, all three of them, we have control over at least for next season as well. I mean, yes, I would have loved to have gotten Cease, but again, at what they were asking for Cease and for the year that Cease was having, I thought that was a complete ridiculous demand. So my thing has always been, if we're going to give up Arrighetti, it better be for somebody that we have multiple years of team control over. But yeah, man, I agree. I mean, I'm waiting to hear what Browse thinks. I'm pretty sure I think he's kind of on par with us. But I'd like to see, Browse, what do you give the trade deadline for the Astros, the grade wise?
Yeah, no, I give this an A, not an A plus, not an A minus. I give it an A. I would have liked to have seen the Pete Fairbanks trade come through, which they were trying to work on at the end. Yeah, I think they just kind of ran out of time on that one. Now, as far as the Jesus Sanchez trade, now giving up Gusto, I understand. I feel sorry for the guy because he kind of got stuck in the middle. He's a good pitcher, but he's a long reliever. He shouldn't be a starter or shouldn't be forced into a starting position like what we did. And when we put him there, he did a decent job. I mean, he had bumps along the road, but it wasn't terrible. So anyway, I hope nothing but the best for him in Miami. And then just to kind of tap into the Cease thing. Now, if everybody was following the trade deadline today, you will see the biggest winner, the guys that got the A++ of anybody in the trade deadline, was the San Diego Padres. Preller came out and he bought and traded anybody and everybody he could possibly find. He could care less about any prospects that he had in his minor league system and went and got everybody. So that brings up the question, why would he get rid of Dylan Cease when he really needed people for his starting lineup? Or I say people, but starting pitchers for his rotation. And Dylan Cease hasn't exactly had the best numbers for him. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that our pitching staff, our coaches, our management, all that probably have a better idea of what they could do with Cease. But at the same time, for what they were asking for him and the fact that the Padres were just willing to say, hey, look, we'll let him go. It's going to be at a high asking price, but we'll let him go. That'll tell you something right there, because Preller, I'm telling you, man, was wheeling and dealing all day. And when they're thin on starting pitching and saying, we're going to let a starting pitcher go, and Arrighetti was in that deal, I'd rather have Arrighetti right now than Dylan Cease, because we're going to have him controllable for longer. And we've seen what Arrighetti can do after he came up his rookie season, struggled, and then actually locked it down after that. So I'm hoping that we get that same Arrighetti that we did. But if you're looking at Arrighetti and Cease and want to compare the two of the guys, I understand Cease has a better track record on the back of the baseball card, but I could care less. Give me Arrighetti all day long on top of that. So I think the Cease trade not going down was a win-win for the fact that we kept our prospects. We've got Arrighetti coming into the starting rotation. And, hey, guys, we've got a lot of offense coming up soon. So I'm excited about all of it.
Yeah, the fact that you're able to keep Matthews and Melton, you were able to keep Matthews and Melton was big. Like, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of disagree with you. I mean, just at the fact, like, I agree with you, but I also kind of disagree with you. So, like, I feel like if you could have gotten Cease for, like, 4 lower-tier prospects, then, yeah, I'd make that trade all day long. I'd rather have Cease in my playoff rotation than Arrighetti. However, for the price that they were asking, because I feel like San Diego was kind of in a space where they were like, yeah, if you want to overpay for him, he's yours. But we're not jumping through hoops to get rid of him. I think that was kind of the feel. Again, I mean, I know they're usually the darlings of the trade deadline. I mean, but I feel like they've yet to kind of put it together. I mean, so I'm not quite sold on. I mean, on paper, their trade deadline was an A++. But again, putting a team on paper versus having them play in real life are two completely different things. But yes, I mean, like at the end of the day, for the asking price, I'm glad they didn't budge. I'm glad they didn't give them Matthews and Arrighetti and Cease. Good luck in the offseason. Maybe Boris will get you a decent deal. That's all I got.
Well, I think there was something that's saying he didn't want to play here anyway.
Oh, good.
I didn't hear that.
That's fine.
So that's just icing on the cake for me.
And it really doesn't matter now, right? Because he ain't coming. So
yeah,
go lose 5 more games. Finish.
Well, he can get DFA'd. Maybe he'll get DFA'd.
Grab your surfboard.
Speaking of being DFA'd, our Ryan Presley got DFA'd.
Yeah, I was going to tell you. Yeah, I was going to tell you we don't need Fairbanks. We'll just bring everybody back. Because now Ryan Presley has been
get the band back together, man. Should have had a Blues Brother like decal up there.
There you go.
I saw something about. I saw someone, and it was pretty clever because I almost fell for it. But someone had reposted a tweet from 2023 saying that the Astros traded for Justin Verlander, like whenever we got him back from the Mets, right? But they left the Mets out, right? It just says Astros acquired Verlander, and I'm like, and it had Bob Nightingale was tagged, and somebody else was tagged. I'm like, you got to be shitting me! Like, why would we do that? And I actually clicked on it and then started reading. And it was all from 2023, so it was good. But I think I would have, like we talked about last night, like I would have been cool with Morton. With Charlie Morton coming back, right? He ends up going to Detroit, goes to reunites with Hinch up there. We talked about how good Morton's been the last 5 starts. So Baltimore, big seller. Minnesota completely blew their team up. Right?
Giants are a massive seller too.
The Giants were massive sellers. Cincinnati made some moves. They also sold, right? So, we go into Boston starting tomorrow night. All right, Boston, I think really we talked about it before we went on, Chris. I think they only went for like 2 pitchers that I know of for a fact.
They didn't do much.
Dustin May and
Matz.
And Matz.
A lefty.
That's right.
I think he's a lefty.
You're ready to preview
deadline, right?
Do what?
No, Matz was pretty early.
Deadline, right?
Yeah,
they got May today.
Yeah. So yeah. All right, Brawls, you ready to take us on? Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it, man. I'm excited for Fenway. All right, so Friday we got the Bulldog Hunter Brown 9-5 with a 2.5 ERA against TBD because obviously Boston got some pitchers. We don't know what's going to happen. Saturday, Colton Gordon 3-4 with a 4.74 ERA against Walker Buehler 6-6 with a mediocre 5.72 ERA. Sunday, Fromber 11-4 with a 2.62 ERA with a fortified defense behind him against Giolito 7-2 with a 3.8 ERA.
I like it. All right, bro. So why don't you get us started? What is your prediction?
No crochet in this one, huh?
Man, at TBD, but I don't remember where Crochet is in their rotation right now. I'm assuming he's not going to pitch tomorrow. I'm assuming he's going to be one of the guys that they got. So I'm going 2-3, man. I would love to take, because we play really well in Boston, and I would love to take the sweep, but that's a tough place to play, especially because Bregman absolutely loves playing in Fenway, and we knew that when he played for us. So I'm going to go 2-1 Astros. I think we're going to overpower them, not only with pitching, but I mean, these guys are going to be fired up with the new guys that we've got coming onto the team. And I think our infield's going to gel. We'll see what happens with the outfield. And that's pretty much all I got, man. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know yet. So I want to say 2-1. I think I'm going to stick to 2-1. I think that what we need Hunter Brown to get back on track. He's, his last 3-4, outings have not been we talked about it, right? They've not been the dominant Hunter Brown that, was leading this staff, early in the season, right? We need him to bounce back. It's Bregman and Duran and Story. I mean, they got a decent squad there. They've been playing some really good ball. Boston has.
They
right?
have.
So, I think I'm going to stick 2-1. I'm going to do that. I think Colton Gordon, he might get the no decision. I like the Fromber game against Giolito. Like that's a good matchup on Sunday, like a really good matchup. But I'm hoping that Brown, just like I said, has a bounce back, gets back on track, has that dominance that we were used to seeing, and not, the multiple walks with, a few strikeouts. So look, he needs to go more than 4 innings. Like that'd be cool. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going 2-1.
Yep. All right. So the last time Fromber pitched, last time Hunter Brown pitched, I think neither one of them got decisions because we couldn't score runs, right?
Yeah.
I think the big two joining this team, and that's Correa and Jeremy Pena, is going to inject some life into this offense. I'm going to go with the sweep. I think
Nice.
the Correa thing injects a bolt of, some moxie that this team has clearly missed between this season and last season. And I'm just going to say we're going to go in there. I don't really care who they throw tomorrow. I feel like Hunter Brown's going to be ready to go because now Dana Brown's got him some offensive hitters now. I mean, so again, like I'm excited to see the moves that they're going to make tomorrow. I'm going to assume Whitcomb's going to go down. I would assume Matthews will probably go down. And God, I hope they just release Cooper Hummel. So you got those 3 guys that'll probably be gone, replaced by Sanchez, Correa, and Urias. Man, I think this is the wave that we needed. Going into today, you kind of felt down in the dumps because Seattle's, they get Suarez, they get Josh Naylor, and it's like, what is Houston going to do? I think this is a very good counterpunch to what Seattle did. I mean, so I like it. I think just Correa alone is going to inject a lot of moxie, and then you add Jeremy Pena coming back, who's going to hopefully he'll be leading off. I'm going to go with the sweep, boys. I think the trade has set the momentum for this series.
Yeah, look, I completely agree. Maybe not the 2-1. I mean, maybe not the sweep, but definitely, I think from a not emotional. I mean, emotional standpoint, right? If I'm a starting pitcher, you're getting MLB players in the positions right behind you, like. That's got to get you amped up. And the fact it's Correa, right, and all that stuff. So I think it's just hard to get a sweep. We know that. Like, we just know that, But I think you're right. Like, the extra oomph, right, for having that dog back in the clubhouse, like, he instantly makes the clubhouse his team again, right, instantly. So yeah. I'm ready, dude. Like, I'm ready for tomorrow night, 6:10. I'm ready to watch I'm ready for that game.
Get ready for some offensive fireworks. I mean, you want to talk about overs covering? Ooh, good Lord. It is going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, the only thing we didn't really cover, and we got a few more minutes on this. The only thing we really didn't cover, didn't really address the bullpen, right? I know we were trying to go after.
I told you, Ryan Presley.
No, I don't think so. That's how no.
Presley?
No.
I'll give him a spot. I'll give him a spot.
He could be like the 5th inning.
I mean, can he do any worse than Nick Hernandez?
Well, but he's only up there because injuries.
What about Oker?
Well, what I'm saying is that unless
Hooker-
we're getting Arrighetti
Not good either.
and all them back within the next couple days, you just lost a good arm. Gusto just had his best start of his season, and he just got traded. So now you
Yeah.
still have Jason Alexander. You still have whatever combo of Contreras or Nick Hernandez is still in your bullpen. I kind of agree with Bryles. I'd rather plug Presley in there instead of having Contreras or Nick Hernandez in this bullpen.
Okay, so if you bring Presley back, then he can't be your 7 or 8. Obviously, he's not going to be 8, right? That's a Braves. We know that.
He could be 7.
He could be 6.
Okay, who could be 6? Or maybe
but
they,
you look,
maybe
your
they're gonna-
your 7 guy, Brian King, can't get anybody out either.
Well,
I'd
Here,
take
we're-
Presley over Brian King right now. Just saying.
I don't know. A wise man once told me, if you're good, you don't get DFA'd.
That is
Unless your last
100%.
name is
Yeah,
Biggio.
fair enough.
That is
Fair enough.
100% true. Yeah, Biggio, they just let him go because that's all. Not because he
what it
can't
is.
hit.
Because they're trying to send him home, and we just won't get the
They're
hint.
Yeah, Houston won't pick up, won't see the smoke signals on that one.
Come on, man. It's like we're not leaving breadcrumbs. We're leaving loaves of bread.
That's right. That's right. Well, look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, man. Look, it was a great freaking day today. Just to recap, look, Correa's back home. We'll see him tomorrow night. He already came out and did a little interview on MLB.com. Told all the fans, hey, we're here for one thing, and that thing is championships. So it's on. It's on tomorrow. Can't wait for tomorrow night against the Red Sox. 3 against the Red Sox, then to Miami, then back up northeast in the Bronx for 3 against the Yanks. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. Let's watch the Astros tomorrow night. We'll be on X. We'll be live tweeting during the game all weekend. We'll be back Sunday evening for the weekend recap. But until then, I'm PK. That's Chris. That's Bryles. This is the Juicebox Heroes. Go freaking Stros, baby.
Go, baby.
Man,
Hell yeah.
I am
Listen.
stoked.
I don't want to wait till tomorrow.